Well, I just
You know
said
who's
what
here?
you said. Really.
Yeah. Oh,
Just
yeah.
repeated
Good point.
in different words.
The wisdom of Hans Kim,
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Hans Kim.
former
So wise.
Seattle,
You're the-
present New York
Yeah.
comedian,
I'm
allegedly.
a New York comedian.
Yes.
I do comedy in New York.
The mean streets.
Yeah, the streets.
Yeah. Are they mean or they've been cleaned up, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's not the New York that.
I feel like it's the people on the streets.
Ah. You
But
see
I
a lot
mean-
of like screaming, ranting lunatics
Yeah.
on a daily basis.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
just like Seattle.
Yeah, Seattle has that too.
Yeah. What's the difference? What's the most striking, even there? What's the most striking difference?
Just the life. Like here, it seems like everything's so spread out. It's not conducive to life. But there, it's like packed in, and there's just things bustling, hustling. Here, it's just like so spread out. It's just like all that human energy escape into the ether.
Yeah. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. Just
It's just like the
lack of. There's just no.
no energy.
Yeah. So are people dicks?
Yeah,
They get real cunty. out
yeah.
there?
But it's not nothing anyone can't handle.
Yeah.
Because people live there. It's the best city for a human because they know what you need
Interesting.
and they give it to you. They're practiced at satisfying humans,
Huh, it
making
sounds
sure
like
they
no
don't die.
pretense. Like a
Yeah.
lack of pretense.
They know how you will malfunction. The cops know how to handle whatever you do. You know, it's like they're set up for you. It's just not very pleasant. It's not easy, but
So
yeah.
lots of crime. That's what I'm hearing.
No,
Lots of
I haven't
public
been a
crime.
victim of crime yet.
Crime.
A lot of the city just tries to take money from you, like parking tickets and towing, and they're just looking to steal.
Oh, that's here too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same thing. They'll be like, "Hey, we're towing your car, and it's $612." It's like a random. It's not based on the expense that it costs to tow. I think it's
Yeah.
just like, well, that's the amount it costs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of just.
You have to pay them.
Yeah. There's no
It's
choice.
your car.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Sometimes I watch someone getting towed, and I'm like, yes. I'm on like the tower's side sometimes.
Ah,
You know?
so you're evil.
I'm like, yeah.
You work for the
I'm
city?
Like, that person's it's like, who is that degenerate they parked there? You know, they knew the sign was fucking, they said it.
Yeah.
You know? Like, yeah, fuck yourself. You know, you cry. You know?
Follow the rules. The parking is very important because you could block off important things like driveways and stuff.
Oh, sure, definitely.
Yeah, you get it's like, you know, it's like you driving around this big hunk of metal all day. Do you think you're just entitled to put it wherever you want?
Yeah.
You know?
It's a city, valuable real estate.
Yeah.
Someone had a joke about that in Seattle. They're like, you're paying whatever for rent, and you just can leave your car anywhere. It doesn't seem fair that you can take up space like that with your car.
Yeah. Someone could sleep there. Yeah,
I do sleep
start
there.
a business there.
You have a joke about
Valuable business space.
You speaking of which, you have a joke right now. I mean, I know how jokes work. They're not necessarily.
Do you though?
Yeah, like I mean, in theory, I know how they work.
Yeah.
Which is you say a funny thing and it doesn't.
I
It's not a fucking
have a
document.
joke about cars.
Yeah, where you're sleeping in your car and shit.
Yeah.
You know
Where
what I
did
mean?
you hear me say that?
I heard it on a recording on Facebook. I heard you say it live.
Oh.
Also live
At
last
the
Sunday.
rendezvous on
Last
Sunday.
You did 5 minutes at the Ballard Brothers. Mike, I had introduced you.
Ballard. Oh yeah,
Right,
yeah.
and you brought-
in
you
the
came
in
up.
the up there,
And you said
all the way up there.
Well, you know what I was wondering was, no, it's a serious question.
Ah.
And that's going to be a joke. because
Oh
I
no.
Said that.
Oh.
But then it's actually not going to be a joke.
Oh, switcheroo. The switcheroo.
No, it was just funny because it just, I just heard you move to New York and it just was like out of nowhere. Like it seemed like you didn't like really announce it or anything, or
Yeah.
you just kind of did it. Why did you do that, and like what? Like, why did you leave at that time? Was it? Is there something with a tax evasion or?
Tax evasion.
We cried.
No, the reason why I did that is because I didn't want to come back. So I didn't want to make it a big thing and then have to come back because I thought that I might have to.
Ah.
Oh, you didn't want to do the whole thing where you're like, I'm out of here, and then like 3 months later you're like, oh, I'm back.
Yeah, I wanted to keep it low key. And
Yeah.
plus, I don't think that the scene owns me, and I didn't feel like I owed it to the scene to do anything big, or like, you know, I don't. I'm very individualistic. I don't like want the scene involved in my career.
Yeah.
I just want to be in it for myself, which is how I thought at the time, and it's slowly changing. But I've always loved the scene here. I also thought it was the best for the scene to not make it a big deal. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I agree. No, actually, that's kind of like I did that. Like when I stopped going, I didn't make like a big announcement because I was afraid. Like I just kind of didn't want to go anymore, and then I was like, I was just getting sick of everything. So I was like, I'm just gonna not, you know. And then I just didn't want it to be this whole dramatic thing.
I like to do what you guys both have done while still being on the scene.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think that's
without
it.
actually leaving.
So just doing comedy?
Much to their dismay. And then, so, pow.
This guy was going to ask you a question. This is not appropriate, by the way. You can totally edit this out. But he was going to ask you a question about fucking eating dog.
Oh, wow.
That's not, that's...
Very shocking.
Hey, you know.
Typical Casey response.
You know,
No, I was against it. I was on your side.
Well, you brought it up.
No.
That's, that's completely false. I don't know where you're getting any of these
Casey,
allegations.
that was a really rough
evidence.
transition.
There's
It
no
wasn't.
evidence.
I admit that segues are not...
I think you're
It was really
barking up
rough.
the wrong tree.
Oh,
No, I definitely don't think it's a good. It's not a good avenue to go down, like in any kind of serious way.
No.
And racism is bad. You know.
I haven't eaten a lot of dogs. Maybe like canine dogs.
No.
What's that?
Hey, fuck the police.
Listen back to it. It's a podcast.
Yeah. So what? So yeah, like, what's the scene? So the scene is there a scene in
Yes.
New York, or is it like 20?
There is a
scenes,
scene.
or is it like a whole bunch of? That's just.
It's a very amorphous scene. It's very large. There's a lot of people in it. It's very. People don't really care about each other as much.
Jesus.
You mean like they're actually even nastier than they are here?
Yeah, of course. There's so many people. You can't care about everyone. There's only so much caring you can do.
But not caring is more indifference though than actively being mean though, is it, or is it both? Is it like they're mean, or is
Why
it
are you so like you're very like you want people to be nice. You need people to be nice to you.
I do?
They don't go out of your way to be nice. They don't go out of your way to be mean. Most people are good at ignoring humanity because there's just so many people around.
Right, yeah.
But there's always groups of friends that find each other and create their little pockets within the scene. It's very big, and there's always something going on. It's great. I love it. It's great for people like me who are always trying to do as many mics as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, are there like here, like people like they start going to open mics, then they decide to start a room, they do their own open mic, or they do a show, and then other people get on that showcase. They don't get paid anything, and then they're forgotten. Is that how it is in New York?
Yes.
Okay.
Just larger and more of it, and more drama and more like crazy shit happening.
Oh.
Because there's more famous comedians and stuff.
Wow.
Is it like? But do you? I mean, are you making friends with anyone? I mean, is there any good? Is there any like human warmth of any kind that's enjoyable? I mean, other than just fuck you.
You started your own open
You
mic,
have to
right?
have friends in any place you go, and you naturally form them. And I have a lot of great friends in New York, and we hang out, we do comedy. It's great because you can go to a mic and then go on the subway together to the next one, and you form deep bonds because you can travel together, which isn't possible in Seattle.
It's actually that was the thing that I fucking couldn't stand. That's what was driving me crazy. Is like people would literally say on Facebook, like, if you like, what is the most important thing about a comedian in Seattle? What's makes the most bookable? And they literally say having a car.
Yeah.
They literally say that, which I understand and it makes sense because this is the fucking lay of the land or whatever. It's the geography here, but but also that's just. But it's almost like if you have a car, it's like, what are you, fucking crazy?
Yeah, you can get to anywhere on the subway, pretty much. And then the car is good for road stuff, but yeah, you need a car here, it seems like, which I hate.
Yeah. Well, that's
it's
what...
so inefficient.
That's what I was thinking of. What was that movie? The Mike Birbiglia's movie.
Sleepwalk with Me.
Yeah, remember? Because he was living in New York, right? In that movie?
I guess so.
I think he was. And then it was funny because he got like a college gig. I remember it was like early in the movie. It was like his first gig, and he had to actually drive. And then I was like, hey, what the fuck?
How did he get a
It's
car?
in New York.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, he used to drive. You know. So, but do people go out of town to do stuff, or did they?
Yeah.
Most people. I mean, obviously, I know people tour. and
It's
stuff,
like
but-
a ratio. Like some people just spend their whole life at the open mic scene, and other people go out a lot. It just
But
depends.
Can you get paid doing gigs in the boroughs? Like in the
Not
five-
really. I mean, if you're a more established level, yeah, but
But
I
not
think
regular. You still have to
not
leave.
regularly. Yeah, for the most of the bar shows, you don't get paid.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's not surprising.
Yeah, I get paid way more here, but maybe that's just because I'm doing clubs and stuff here.
Yeah,
But-
everything's hard. I mean, everything. It's like to do anything worthwhile, you have to. You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to do an open mic and do that for a year and then get money and then like live off of like just kind of.
No, you have to do it as a side hustle for a while.
Yeah. You have your own open mic there, right?
Yeah,
How's that experience?
it's great. I love being able to control the show. I'm thinking of trying a new thing there. But yeah, it's great. You get to give back to the scene. You get to practice your comedy in between comedians, be funny off the cuff.
Yeah.
I love giving back because it's a great scene, and there are a lot of great comedians. But
What's the new thing
You
you're
have
thinking of
to pay.
trying?
huh?
What's the new thing you're thinking of trying?
I'm gonna do like a heckle mic.
Ah.
So a person does their set, and then you get to heckle them afterwards.
Oh, after it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, you mean like they don't like they get to go through their whole set?
Yeah,
They don't get interrupted,
yeah.
and then so they just have to stand on the stage and take it.
They can rebut.
Oh, okay.
They can
Oh, I
talk
thought it
back.
was-
You then just have to take
You
it.
just have to like bow
Yeah.
your head.
I would be like, that's no practice at all. That's just like, here's the getting abused. You're like, that sucked.
Oh.
You fucking sucked.
Yeah, it can get brutal.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoy being heckled, in a sense. It sort of makes you feel alive, kind of, in a way.
Yeah, it's
know?
like a shock.
Yeah, it's like it is
It's
actually
like
it is actually
jumping
painful.
into a cold pool.
Yeah, kind of. It is actually painful, but but you keep your poise and you're acting like it's sort of fun in the moment, but it is actually unpleasant and not
Some
good.
of it is, and then not all of it is.
No, not all of it. It's just I don't know. It's just now I find it more kind of that feeling to be sort of funny. Like that feeling that you think if it's really painful, it's actually more of like a amusing kind of funny feeling.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is
you
this-
get that. Well, you get like, you get to know for sure that they hate you.
Sure. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Like, you don't actually have
Yeah.
to be like up there like, I don't know how
Yeah.
this is good. I don't know. And then
There's a
like,
definitiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, I get it. I'm garbage. I understand.
Yeah.
I know.
That thing you said earlier about me needing people to like me, that is a thing, the biggest problem I've had. And now within the couple years of I've done it, that's the thing that's like decreased a lot. I don't really I feel I'm still essentially like that, but I don't like need that as much. I don't really need a lot of anything. It just occasionally you can still have something that'll actually hurt your feelings. You know
Well, I
what mean?
think I'm the opposite. I think I need to care more about what people think and let myself be influenced by the people around me, because I'm very mistrustful of groups of people and reputation and all that. I've never been a part of. I guess I have. I don't know. I just don't trust the mob
Oh,
as a
sure.
bias. Like everything they say is wrong, but sometimes they can be right. So I think it's good to open yourself up.
Yeah, I mean, there's certain societal norms that are norms because, I mean, there's a reason. Like, there's certain things that work.
Yeah.
There's certain things that, like, even if they're annoying, like parking tickets, but there's also a reason. It's like we all, like, kind of, it's like a thing we all agree sucks, but it also kind of works. It's like one of
Yeah.
those.
It's like, why does everyone eat this particular fruit? It's because it has antimicrobial properties that you would have to have science to know, or you could just eat the fruit and be like everyone else.
Yeah, I'm not eating that fruit.
When you're speaking
I'm
of
not a sheep. I'm not a fruit sheep.
when you're speaking of the mob, are you meaning more like in your local circle around you, or just in society in general, or both?
The scene, the comedy scene.
Right.
Do you think, like, yeah, I mean, once you get out of it, because now that I'm out of it, I'm like, that's like all bullshit. Like a lot of especially a lot of that political crap and all the, identity politics stuff and whatever. Like to me, I'm out of it. I'm like, I can't believe that I even felt any pressure to at all, like, open myself up to that. And then to to consider that there was truth in any of it and that I had to like kowtow to any of this shit, Like,
what do you mean specifically? Like what?
Well, just like using like like you can't like if you were just to say, for example, like, oh, that's gay or something.
Yeah.
And that's like
what?
Like, the worst thing you could like, and then like the whole, the air gets sucked out of the room, and then next day Facebook.
Yeah.
Like,
So you would just say that's gay right now, that you wouldn't care.
I don't know if I right now. I don't know if I would.
That's what I mean.
I'm just saying it's like I haven't been. I've been away from it for a
Yeah.
while, so I haven't been. But it's just like the thought of how something like that is so. That's like so monumental.
It'll ruin me, my career, and everything I worked for. But then it's nothing.
And I'm a bad person. It's like they're right. Also, it's like this feeling of like you have all these people that
It's almost like that feeling is gay.
Yeah.
It's like kind of gay to feel that way.
Yeah.
I mean, just like I remember, I wore for Halloween. I dressed up in a female, as a female, like a few years ago, and then I performed on stage. And now that's actually like there's like this whole thing, so like the whole like trans rights movement. Now there's like this whole thing where it's like if you're like they're saying that drag queens, even like I guess even like gay male drag queens, that's like transphobic.
You're not allowed to dress up as a woman?
Yeah, you're not, even, especially if you're a straight guy dressing up as a woman to be funny. They're considering that's like a hate crime or whatever.
Because you're mocking femininity. You're obviously not a woman, and you're putting your gross, strong jawline into a feminine form.
I was just going to say, very definitely, obviously not a woman.
Well, I think there's a core truth to feminism, and then there's all these branches of it with their weird beliefs that are wrong. But the core is true, and you should just you shouldn't be like, oh, all feminists are wrong because they don't want me dressing up as a woman. Just those weird feminists are wrong. But then there's like people who are against rape and stuff, which we should all be behind.
Well, that's not. I don't even think that's feminism. I mean, that's a crime. Like, it's like literally on the books.
But feminists are very much against that, and that's the mindset.
The other day about rape outside of Jai Thai.
Yeah, we did.
I was drunk. I had a lot of beer, and I can't remember who was pro rape and who was against rape. I'm pretty sure. I guess I must have been pro rape or something.
Did you feel like you were pro rape?
No, I'm not pro rape.
You felt pro rapey?
No, I'm not. I'm not pro rape.
Well, I
don't like rape.
I think the feminism thing is annoying in comedy because it's like they don't even care about they want to destroy comedy to prove that feminism is more powerful than comedy.
Yeah. Definitely.
They just go around just enveloping all art forms and making it into this feminist propaganda bullshit.
I think most people most people, even in comedy, you said this the other day, you said that I actually disagreed with you, but you said you thought most people.
Well, most new comedians seem to be in that mindset. Is what I'm seeing. Like
PC, say the right thing.
Yeah. That's comedy culture.
Right, but I tried to say that
now,
right in Seattle, this would be the worst place for that, besides Portland, Oregon, I guess, right?
Yeah,
maybe. As far as I know.
Well, Portland's probably worse, yeah.
But Seattle would be one of the worst in the country is for that.
For liberals.
But then I would say even of the people I've met, probably 40% or so don't like it. Like they'll be outside going, man, I wish I could just say whatever I want.
Yeah, but the thing with feminists is that they're coalesced into one group, like the Christian right.
Sure.
Yes.
And everyone else is just scattered. So we're all against them. We're the majority, but we're not in one group, and they are, and they have power because they're one thing.
Well, they also have power because what they do is they suck in the idea of like compassion. Like they actually act.
They think they own compassion,
and so that they actually turn it so that if you're not agreeing with that, then you're actually bad.
Yeah.
But
that's great because that gives you so much nuance and ability to like attack them because they're so big and unwieldy that they think they own the compassion, and there's so much hypocrisy you could poke at and with comedy and make fun of them.
Yeah, you're right. It shouldn't be necessarily as bad of a big of a thing as it seems.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of room to critique it and stuff like that. It's true. No need to take it as serious. The more you learn about it, you don't have to.
Well, the problem is that, I mean, yeah, it's great that there's this thing that you can make fun of. There's always been things you can make fun of, but the problem is that they seem to have all this power that they're actually using to, expel people. Like, obviously, using social media now has made it that they can actually, like what happened to Louis, for example, or whatever. Like, there's or just any Tosh, with Daniel Tosh, when he did that rape joke, and then and then it, like, I don't know exactly how it affected his career, but it definitely was like something that he had to like deal with. Like, it wasn't just like he didn't.
They do have power, but how much? A lot of their power is illusion, and it's in your own head where you're self-censoring because you think that they might attack you, but really, they can't really do much.
Yeah.
Unless you do something really wrong.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that's true. I mean, it's just like it seems like because it's like becoming more part of the culture. Like, it's becoming more like it's always in your head now. That it's like a thing to deal with.
But
so
I love it. I
like
love that it's in my head because I think some of that shit is right. Like, gender is a construct and all that. I think there are biological facts that we have to deal with, but I would like to get to a point in humanity where gender is a construct, and I would shoot for that. But like right now, there are biological necessities that I can't ignore. But I like to think that we are just all humans and just see people as people instead of like a dick or a vagina. Which is annoying because feminists are even more for that. They gender people even more now. They're like, oh, you're a man, so you can't say this.
Right.
Let's just be people and not focus so much on our genitalia. And evolve. It's so primal. It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's like, it's funny because it's like totally, that's what I always wonder about, because they would say gender is a social construct, and they would be like, you shitty white male, and it's like, well, wait a minute, so you hate me for being a construct? Like, aren't I a victim of the same system that you're saying? Like, I mean,
that's what's so annoying is that they were victims of society, and then they turn around and do the same evil shit that they had done to them. And that's fucking evil because they know how evil it is, and yet they're doing it.
Actually, it's kind of I find it now oddly uplifting, because it's interesting to see how all people do the things what they talk about regarding power. So it's just a new way of enjoying having power. So it's like, look, it's like people like to have power over others.
Yeah, it's not a male thing. Look, you guys are fucking up too.
Yeah. Or they even right now.
Who? What?
Not you.
Yeah.
Women.
We took it personal because we're whiteys and we're on the defensive.
You know, I heard an interesting thing. I was listening to Jordan Peterson talking, and he was like doing a thing about it was on Rogan actually, and they were talking about MMA, and they were talking about that whole about like the trans fighters.
Yeah.
So like, and then they were basically saying, well, like, it's it's not fair because you're biologically a man, and then you transition to a woman, and then you're just like beating the shit out of all these biologically born women.
Yeah.
And then Jordan Peterson said, well, it's okay if you what if you don't identify? You can identify as whatever you want, but if you're XY, you can't fight an XX.
Yeah.
So don't make it about like male female. Make it about what your biological thing is. You don't have to just say XXs can't fight XYs.
Yeah.
Which I thought was actually like a pretty interesting,
just scientifically.
Yeah, scientific thing. It's not dismissing trans people in any way.
Yeah.
It's just like saying like, look at your DNA, and that determines who you can fight.
Yeah. How many times do we have to see a man beat a woman before we're like, okay, these guys are better. We don't have to keep proving this over and over again.
Yeah. Also, they should show some integrity and just fight like at the lower, like slight, a lady should just fight men. You should become a man and just fight men. You know, it's odd coincidence that never happens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because people seem to like excellence and doing well at things. You know what I mean?
That's so evil to be like, I'm a woman now and just beat up people when you have an advantage.
It is. They don't think of it that way, though. Actually, I think. Well, they're not. There's.
I mean, that's domestic violence. Isn't that like pretty much like it's pretty?
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's everywhere. This liberalism and these people think they're right and they can do whatever they want. And I don't know. It's annoying, but whatever. It's not that hard to deal with.
Well, it seemed like from the beginning, like when you were doing comedy, you were always not, you were always kind of like we were saying, individualistic. Like it always seemed like from the very beginning. I remember you, what is it? I don't know. I remember you pissed some people off with one of your first jokes.
Oh, about Jews.
Yeah.
Paul Barak.
I heard you say the N-word.
Oh, did you piss him
I
off?
said the N-word. Yeah, when I first started. What did I say? I said, why are we taking religion from the Jews? They're not the most luckiest people in the world. Why are we taking their superstition? Like, would you rather go to a party run by the Greeks or the Jews? And then Paul was like, he was very awkward and stilted at Highline.
Yeah, I was
you
at
didn't like
Highline, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how did you, like, when you came into it, were you oblivious, or were you like, I am definitely going to go in here and fuck with these people? Like, where was your, yeah.
I just wanted to express truth and what I thought and saw, and I didn't want to be offensive, but I don't really care if I am offensive. This is what I see, this is what I think. I don't think is it offensive or not? That's not a question that should enter anyone's head. You should just think the thoughts you think.
I definitely don't think he's oblivious from my experience. You're not oblivious.
Well, I meant
There's
like
a
'cause you were
rebellious-
starting out, it
Right.
was your first one. I was like, did you not, whatever? And you,
I guess I didn't know how people would respond to shocking things. I thought it was comedy and they could take it, but apparently not.
That's part of that's a giant percentage of the fun of the whole thing, anyways. Being like whatever form rebellion takes, like some rebellion. Like people want to characterize rebellious as being like intentionally wanting to upset someone, but being just being like rebellious in a sense.
Well, your whole existence is rebellious to the feminist movement. The fact that you have your own thoughts, their worldview is very limited and not very diverse in perspective. So just the fact that you think is an affront to them, that you aren't kowtowing and being a cuck.
Yeah, sure. But also, if you're a comedian in the first place, like anyone just standing there, your whole idea is that you have to say something, you have to constantly say something original. You have to constantly come up with something new. You have to, you're the whole, part of the whole idea is to say something shocking, right? It's as old as the art form, right? To say something.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely
Say
it's
something
about,
new.
You're not supposed to like go in and be like, "Hello, everybody."
I mean, you can.
Would you like a napkin? Like, that's what you like. Go out. You go out to comedy and to entertainment to avoid the fucking mundane, polite fucking shit. You know?
You don't want a comedian. You want a waiter.
Yeah.
Although when you do an open mic where the people don't know there's a comedy show going on, you end up sometimes doing that. Hey, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Literally, I was making a joke last week about that. There's they're like not expecting to have someone with a microphone, so you're almost like a waiter with a microphone.
Yeah.
How's it like if there's waiters with microphones? Is everything okay? You guys doing good?
Talking to people is a hell of a thing to do. Thinking is crazy. It's what defines us. It's what we think defines us. And to have your thoughts enter someone else's mind, they're not going to take that lightly. It's a hell of a thing to do to someone.
I was thinking...
We're lucky we get to do it at all.
Yeah, totally. I was thinking about your actual comedy. I wrote down this thing I thought because I was watching you do a set recently, and I haven't seen you obviously since you've been in New York and stuff. And I thought I noticed you doing more jokes that were like self-effacing.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's important.
I never thought, because the first thing I don't think of when I think of you and your comedy is self-effacing. You sort of... I think of more as like arrogant and confidence. You used to do a lot of like you even not that that's bad. That's awesome, man. Confidence is the shit, you know. But you used to have a joke even where you were like you'd start out and be like your first line would be like, "Hi, I'm Hans Kim. I'm very confident." Remember
Yeah.
that? And you just
But
would
the
say,
whole point of that bit was that confidence is stupid. Why do you need people to be confident? Just listen to them.
but also
I
it's
don't think I ever
essential.
was arrogant.
No,
I mean,
you're right. Arrogant as a loaded
I
word.
definitely was arrogant.
You played.
I was,
You,
but I thought I had a lot
There
of
you go.
self-effacing jokes in my 4 years in Seattle. But maybe you just, I don't know. Maybe
Well-
because I did open mics a lot. But in my
Oh.
set, and when I go to the underground or something, I have a lot of like jokes about being a loser virgin and all that.
Oh, okay, right. But also, I would say that it just is only from my point of view, which is obviously my own, could be totally biased.
It's your point of view.
Yes, so it doesn't mean that it's how you are. But
Right.
I'd say your act.
Well, I
your
hope
act-
I became more honest in my time in New York and became like an artist, more critical of myself
Yeah.
instead of critical of everyone else.
So I guess I was asking, did you find going to New York had an actual effect on your actual act? Was it
Yeah.
actually humbling? Is it actually humbling?
Yes, I got humbled.
Why?
Yeah?
Yeah, how? What happened?
Well, I came into the scene and no one liked me. No one
Why did-
still likes me.
Wait, is that just because
That's
they
great,
not like
man.
anyone or just you?
Just me, I think,
Well, that makes
and a lot of
sense.
other people.
No, that's
Yeah,
the
it is.
better
I like
answer.
it.
Like,
I like it. I like where I am at.
we're just laughing. It's a great
Like,
answer.
I'm just
I
like,
mean-
like I wish I could have seen that.
I don't know any other way to do it.
Yeah.
I just go out there and say what I think, and some people like it, some people don't. And obviously, I think I was a little closed off, a little individualistic when I
Right.
could have been more opened up to the scene, but also I wasn't funny enough. I was funny like a little
Yeah.
bit, but not enough to just get by solely on my funny, and that's what I want to do. So if my personality isn't good enough, I don't want shows. I just want to get good at being funny.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So, but why? I mean,
Yeah. Why? I was
so like, what did you? I don't know.
Oh, I had a joke about the Me Too movement because I moved in August and the Me Too thing happened in like
Yeah.
September or whatever. And then that's the first thing that happened when I moved there. And I had a bunch of jokes about how I hated the Me Too movement.
Oh wow.
It was so stupid when it first started. Me Too. It's like,
I didn't
it's
know
all
that
about you. Me. So I hate that bullshit. My experience. This is what I went through.
Did you hear that lady? I don't know. It's something that's fairly vaguely related to Me Too, but that lady who was at Louis C.K.'s one of his first shows he did when
Yeah.
he came back. I don't know if you heard about
And
that.
she
being in
heckled
your-
him.
Yeah, she well, I don't know if she even heckled. She's in the front row, and she just like wrote in an article that like everyone else was laughing. The whole place was just laughing, and she's with her husband, and they were just like, I just felt just violated, and it was just terrible. And then I remember thinking like, so what's the fuck's the problem?
Yeah.
Like what's the
You had a bad emotion.
like you had an emotion that didn't, and then just the idea that like all these people were part of the bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, the guy on the stage is and everyone's on his side. You know,
Yeah.
and she's the one who's right. Isn't it great to be the one in her husband? He doesn't even have a fucking say in it. She just
No.
has to go along with her.
Just
Like,
a male.
Yeah, she's like, "Hun,
Dirty
my hun-"
male.
He probably was enjoying it, but wasn't allowed to laugh. You know, like he said, he wasn't. He had to be quiet.
Yeah, he was just like,
What
no,
was the
honey,
point?
this is terrible. I hate this. What a awful night.
Yeah.
I love you.
I just thought of the level of selfishness, and I was thinking, did they make her stay? Like, why can't you just
To
fucking
her, I mean, if he was a rapist to her, like imagine if someone got on stage and he was like a genocidal maniac, it'd be a weird thing.
But wouldn't you
Okay,
feel?
sure,
I guess
sure.
I would feel like
I
if
guess
there's
so.
a room full of people, he's not going to like jump off the stage and start raping.
No.
You know, like I'd be like, I could probably.
There
leave.
is a safe. You are safe.
That is
physically.
actually a decent point. That there is limits. Like you could actually place yourself in a situation where you're the only one not laughing, and all the people could actually be monsters.
Yeah.
You could be in a room of
But
monsters.
chances are it's not likely.
It's the fact that that it's like newsworthy. It's like that the way.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing.
My emotions are newsworthy.
It's reported. Like the reporters. It's almost like they've adapted to social media in certain ways because before social media, like your opinion was bullshit, like no one cares. No one gives a shit about you. But now like a fucking 16-year-old
now we care too much,
and it can if it gets some traction somehow, it can actually get into the news cycle.
Yeah.
Fucking some idiot who doesn't know, who's never done anything, can be relevant. And so now they're like saying, oh, well, someone's feelings are relevant, so we're going to write this in the story, and it's going to be it's newsworthy that this woman didn't have a good time.
Hey, I've noticed when we first experience with you in this comedy was you do a lot of jokes about whitey, like white people, you know? And the other day, it was weird because I've never taken a joke about being white or being white, you know, like seriously, really, but only from you for some reason.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, maybe my perspective, you relate to it or something. I don't know. It's not a large part of my act.
No, it's not. It's weird. It's somehow. Maybe it's because you're good at selling the joke, or you're good at making it seem.
Well, it's my honest
somehow.
Perspective.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Hopefully, there's some truth in it that you relate to.
But it's interesting because we were just talking about how we don't like, you know, a lot of that politics shit, identity politics shit. But you still sometimes, you know, enjoy a good whitey joke.
I enjoy a good men are trash joke.
Right.
Like, there's truth to that. There's truth to white people are psychopathic.
Yeah, it's like the old, like, I always think of, like, to me, the example that's always, like, it's like the 80s, like, you know, white people are like this, and black people like, that was, I mean, you know, of course, now it's, like, hacky, but then, at some point, it was funny.
Yeah.
And it was, like, but it didn't upset me. Like, it was, like, because it wasn't done with, like, hatred and vitriol and, like, an agenda. You know, it was just done. It was just kind of like what do you call it? It was observational.
Okay.
Sure.
You know, and it was funny.
Well, when you characterize it as being funny or like that kind of thing, that's actually true and everything. But when you said it was true, you mentioned it has truth in it.
Yeah.
That's a whole separate thing because it's actually impossible for a color to have a trait. Like a white can't be insane.
There are stereotypes for a reason.
No, but it doesn't make any sense. There
are generalities that you can
be,
say about groups of people.
It is
possible for groups of people to have similar traits. It's called culture.
Sure, you could. I mean, of course, you could say it, but I mean, it doesn't really.
Well, I think that you're very triggered by white people racism,
No, I'm
and
not.
that's a personal thing because I attack a lot of different races,
oh, sure,
and you just pick up on the white thing.
I definitely am not triggered.
I think you're.
I'm not triggered.
I think you're very sensitive about white people racism, and you're white, and you don't like being attacked for being white.
No, that's not it. I don't mind. I really, in a certain sense, I don't mind, but I also just don't like. I don't like untrue things.
Well, but I also what did I say that was untrue?
Well, no, I'll say this. Well, I mean, if whites are insane, well, whites can't ever. A white can't be an insane. You know what I mean? So I just disagree. I disagree with like any descriptor of any color being.
Well, that's just not in the real world. Groups of people have characteristics that are similar to each other, and it's okay to mention it, but that doesn't mean that they're worse or better than any other group of people. It's just they're different. There's a bad racism towards white people, but I also think that you would bristle at any mention of whiteness, and I think that's your problem.
Actually, no. I was telling you real specifically. I've only ever been bothered by it. Well, that's not. I've only really been bothered by it more with you somehow.
Well, I'm telling you that it's a problem of like your sensitivity towards your race. I don't know what's going on.
It might not even be a problem. It might actually be because the joke is hits too close to home.
Yeah.
It might. You know what I mean? I'm actually analyzed in my head. Why does it bother me when
what joke in particular?
You say it? Well, one time, this is funny. You'll like this, Jason. I think it's actually funny.
As a white man,
I'm not triggered. I think it's funny. But you saw my face in a crowd, my fucking head, and you were like, "That guy looks like a gun owner." And before we met, that's how you saw my face, and you were like, "That's a target. That's a fucking," and that's great, but it's fucking terrible.
It's racism.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
So it definitely that's the genesis of why I actually used to feel like when I'd come in a room, it was like you almost could just you could tell there's something about me. There's something about
Yeah.
me in particular. I actually don't think it's racism. I think you saw.
Well, we all have things that people can say about us as soon as they see us. People made
Yeah.
fun of me for being Asian, a bad driver, small dick.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
aren't. I mean, you have things that people see,
No doubt.
and that
Yeah.
it's okay. It's okay that people see that.
It's fine. It's fine.
And you don't want people to criticize you for being white at all. You don't like
No.
being racist towards, which
Well-
no one does, but we all have to deal with it.
No, we
and
don't
you,
have- no, we-
you
Jason, back me up.
you protest against it more
Jason,
than any other people.
You gotta back me up. We do not all have to deal with it. Only Whitey has to deal with it.
No, everyone deals with it.
Well, Asians can get made fun of on a stage with
you
jokes.
just
sometimes.
can't handle it because you're white and you don't have no defenses against racism.
Well, no.
I've had to
no,
deal
no,
with
no,
it
no.
since I was a kid, and now you're like having people be racist to you, and
Well,
you're
you
like,
s-
what's going on?
Well,
People
of
are
course.
racist to you. It's
Well,
okay.
of course, no one likes racism, so we all
No,
agree
but
it's
we
bad.
have some implicit biases when we see people, and we're just vocalizing that. And you have some things that your face elicits, and that's okay. People look at you and think certain things.
Yes, but you made the specific point that we all have to deal with it, and no, we don't. A
Yeah, we
Mexi-
do.
No, and there's no Mexican guy.
You're not any worse than anyone
There's-
else. Okay, you don't have it worse. You
I'm
don't
not
have to
saying
like
I have it
a
worse, but
suffering
I'm not gonna go
Olympics.
like, "This is a Mexican motherfucker. Look at this guy."
I do that all the
It's
time.
like a guy-
I do that to Mexicans. I do it to white people
Hey, Mr.
like
Black
you.
man over
And white
here.
people are the ones that protest the loudest.
Well, they're the ones getting singled out right now.
No,
Nobody
you're
likes it.
not. You're getting the same shit that everyone else has gotten, and you can't handle what everyone else
We're
has
not-
got. You
we're
want
not-
special treatment.
We're not supposed to handle it. We're not supposed
Yeah,
to.
you are.
No, we're not.
Yeah, people. When
Well,
you
I
see a
won't.
Mexican, you
I
see.
personally
you,
won't. I'll
you think
interrupt.
certain
I'll interrupt the
things.
joke.
But
just
that's
like
the thing.
fucking-
It's because everyone else had to go through it, and now you have to go
It's
through
not
it,
a
and you
fucking-
can't handle it. You
Well,
can't handle
no, I
people
t-
being the same level of racist to everyone else as they are to you.
Well, why would I want anyone? I never supported racism. I
But
never
the
supported
racism is a part of life.
I know, but I never
Not
supported
bad
racism
racism, but
growing
like
up.
stereotypes.
Okay,
people.
time out.
Sure. No, but I'm
Ladies and
personally.
gentlemen, you've been listening to Crossfire.
No, I personally don't really mind that much. I just feel the
I
need
think
to.
you do. I think you take it very emotionally.
Well, I can get emotional about something that's like a debate. It doesn't mean that it's actually something that personally harms me or affects me. But
I think
just
it does
Well,
because
maybe.
you brought it up.
Well, Casey, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Here's the question: what if it was, if the same thing had happened to you, the pre-social media, pre-Me Too, pre-all Black Lives Matter?
Well, nothing happened
What if?
to
Well,
me.
no, I'm saying, but if you ever had the interaction
Okay.
In the
you had
90s.
interaction, and let's say it was like 1995, and you're sitting at a comedy club, and then there's say, you know, a black comic or an Asian comic goes, "Hey, look at this white boy over here. You know, looking like, oh man, how many shotguns you got?" Would it bother you? I mean, what I'm trying to say is I think that the time that we're living in, because there's so much like vitriol in the time we live in
Yeah.
towards white people, that maybe it seems like it's coming from this, that like you interpret it as like that place of, it's coming from that same place. It's hard to differentiate
Right.
between like, is it coming from that hatred or is it just a light poking, you know, whereas like, because I think like 20 years ago, it would have just been like, oh, you know, we're just having, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Just a light poking at a stereotype that, you know, we all know it's a stereotype and it's silly.
Right. That's a good point. If you're making a point, or is it the question?
Yeah, no, that's
But to
my
me,
point.
it's
Well,
the,
I did ask.
The
I
point.
started as
The
a question,
point
and
is
then I
culturally. The point is culturally, it's not a joke. People are very serious.
Yeah.
They are
Right,
very
right,
serious.
right.
They do actually go. They do like you're responsible for this, and this, and this. And I go like, well, one of my biggest problems is there's a comedian locally. I'm telling him just to bring it up is what I don't like about identity politics is it's very lazy.
Yeah.
It's like you look like this, and then you are this. For instance, there's an African comic, you know, and it's fine if he gets upset with it, but I don't really care. But he's like,
Oh, shit.
he's lived in America like 6 years,
Yeah.
and he's like, and I've lived in America for 47 years, and I
American.
grew up on welfare. My parents broke up when I was 2. You know what I mean? We moved. Every time I made a friend, we moved. You know what I mean? I lived in like multiple ghettos, like terrible places. Move.
So
You know,
he
like-
thinks he suffered more than you.
Well, no, it's just the idea. The idea is to him, I look at you, and then this is you.
You've never suffered before, Casey. Like
It's not even that I need to exaggerate my suffering. It's just that I don't even need to talk about it. But I just don't like when someone just goes,
assumes that you're
yeah.
perfect and
So that's why
happy.
I'm like, I'm
Privilege.
not gonna just
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah.
okay, that's what I am. And they don't even bother to ask.
No.
Like, for instance, I've had people say, so that I'm a rich American, able-bodied, like, white dude. And I go, well, first of all, I'm disabled. I wasn't even born in America. I never had any money, ever, always been broke forever.
I think it's
Never-
true. A lot of white
so-
people are more white people suffer in America than any other race because there's so more of them.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
the majority. Yeah.
But
And it's not right to assume, and people shit on white people.
But at the same time, I'm not defensive about it. I mean, honestly, I really just don't like the lack of truth in it.
Well, I don't
That's
like
what
it
I
either. I mean, I definitely don't like it when I actually remember I had this job a couple of years ago where like there was this girl in the corner and she was just like, you know, they were having a conversation about something and she goes, "Yeah, that seems like something some straight white male would be into." Like she said it like out loud, and I'm like, "We're in a workplace. Like, you know, there's I'm actually should be protected from this kind of harassment."
Yeah.
You know, and but that was coming from, that wasn't comedy. You know,
Right.
she was just being like, she like went out of her way to try to, you know, wheedle.
You're
at
just
me.
a race.
You know?
Oh.
Stop being so
sounds-
into your race
She
and
sounds
gender.
like she sucks.
Whoa.
Sucky person.
Oh,
Is that
I'm
a
sorry.
sexual
It's-
innuendo?
Excuse me, it's Z.
Oh, suck.
Z sucks. Z sucks.
What?
So, like, what were you
Sir,
talking
sir,
about?
sir.
Like kayaking or?
Oh, I don't
Bungee
know. I know,
jumping?
it wasn't even about. It wasn't even
Hacky
something-
sack?
I wasn't even in the conversation. They were talking about. I think they were talking about some restaurant or some place to go, and they just said it. She just and it had nothing. It was just out of. She just wanted to just. She just went like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking use this thing we're talking about to take a jab at that fucking guy sitting on the phone over there."
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
I wasn't there, so I back her up.
She probably had a point.
Anyway,
It's just making it about race. Hey, you're a race over there. Don't forget your race.
Right.
It's all about race.
Well, I'm glad we solved racism today. That was cool. I always knew this was gonna have this
Yeah.
podcast was gonna have a point. But there's unusual dynamics on scenes, which is sometimes they'll already get an idea of you,
Yeah.
and nobody actually. For instance, like I've noticed that I met like famous comedians a couple times, and they will go like, "Hey man, where are you from?"
Yeah, they were nice to you because they were successful.
Sure,
Yeah.
they're not insecure.
Yeah, they don't have.
And
a
they're not
difference.
going to see you every day.
They're not going to share all these things. I'm not saying that. I'm just pointing out.
This is just how humans work. It doesn't have anything to do with comedy. It's just when you get humans in a group like that, they think they know people. Everyone does that.
I don't know if it's that.
I think it's
my
a
experience
certain
isn't
kind
the
of
same.
human. I think there's like certain types of people because I've worked.
Narcissists.
I've had a lot of different jobs.
Yeah.
And I've
Jobs are
noticed,
different.
Like the culture
So people-
between jobs, there's different. It's weird because you
So
like,
it's not-
and they're like office, like it's all offices.
Yeah.
Like each one, depending on like each company has its own culture, and some of them
Yeah.
it's like the guys like they're like, oh, you're a new person. Like, who are you? Like they'll go out of their way, and then like the next place, it's like everybody like looks at the floor. Like everybody, like they literally, like
Yeah.
you walk by them, you say hello. People, I've worked in places where people literally, you say hello, and they don't like you're like it's just the two of you walking past each other in a hall, and you're like hello, and nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this a Seattle thing? I don't fucking know, but it's the thing. So there's definitely differences in different
Yeah.
group dynamics, and
Yeah.
how that happens, I don't know.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I don't have all the answers.
Probably fucking.
So what was the point of the story?
Well, you distracted. I was trying to talk about when Reed was when I was going through.
It took forever.
Well, you interrupted the fucking thing, and then
Because it's taking forever.
Things happen.
what's that?
The point was when people get together, things
Oh.
happen. whether you're or not.
What did Reed do?
She's a therapist.
my
so she
girlfriend
keep you
said
on track.
that. My girlfriend.
You're
finished
right.
it There,
That was
she's.
fine.
Well, I think comedy, it's more honest. People in businesses can't be honest like people in comedy are.
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Yeah, that's true because it's like I mean, comedy. There is that escape. You're there to like escape from all the conformity and all the having to suck up to people. But then it becomes its own version of that. Just-
Yeah.
That reminds me of a joke I heard you do the other day. I like this joke you did. Not you. This
Oh,
one.
no, I know you weren't complimenting me.
No, I would.
You haven't done a joke in forever.
I love a lot of his jokes, man. But you said, my least favorite thing is crowds next to individuals.
Yeah.
Because crowds are made up of individuals.
Yeah. It's like they're both bad.
Yeah,
I hate people who blindly hate crowds. There's a lot of wisdom in crowds, especially doing comedy. You can sense a crowd and how intelligent they are. And how they move and they instantly react and stuff. And people are just like, oh, I hate crowds. It's probably because you're a shitty person and crowds don't like you.
Hey, didn't you say you? I was gonna say, didn't you say you hate crowds?
That was like one of my things. I realized is like I never like the audience. Like even if they like me, you know, I'm just like, you guys. I know I wouldn't want to hang out with any of you.
Just saying yes to everything. They're just laughing at everything you say.
I've had this discussion with people who had asked me about you, about why you weren't doing comedy, you know, and I remember when you told me that, I thought there's never been a more valid, unarguable reason. Like there's no way around it. If someone says I didn't like the crowds, there's literally well that makes sense then.
Yeah, you didn't enjoy doing it.
Yeah, literally I can't go, well, if you just if you get a crowd full of all people that you like, you know, then maybe, you know, there's no fucking. So that makes sense.
Nice try. Yeah.
I like the warmth of the crowd. The feeling you get, the warm feeling that they're giving you.
Yeah.
That pouring, that emotion that they pour back. I like that. That feels good. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely feels good when you're killing. Like I like the hearing the laughter.
Oh,
I mean, that feels good.
So you hate the needing it.
But yeah, it's just I mean, I don't know if I need it. It's just that, I mean, I could definitely see it's cool, especially because you're anxious when you go up there.
Yeah.
So when they're so then that just, you know, then that's the release valve. Like, oh, okay, I don't have to be anxious now, and then you can relax and have more fun. I mean, it's still working, but I think it's so that part of it is it's cool.
So when you coming back, man?
Announce
it.
Tonight, let's do it. Let's go. Anyone guest spots?
So what are your plans for the holidays, and what do you got coming up? Anything you want to promote or anything? Or?
I'm going back to New York.
After the
When does
Christmas?
this come out?
Well, this will be out in a couple days. We're trying to get it more.
I'll probably be in New York by then.
Oh, is that right? You're leaving?
It's
Oh,
on Monday.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for coming and doing this, man.
Yeah, no problem. I wanted to talk.
I didn't mean to think I didn't have any problem with anything you said. I just like to discuss it. I don't really have.
You just don't like that I'm racist to white people?
No, I like it. I want more. Do more. I'm serious.
You asked for it.
I don't care.
We're here to fight racism.
I deserve it. I know that's
well,
what
they're the most evil race in the world, the white people.
We are killing it in the evil.
Yeah.
That's probably why I don't like it. I don't want to confront, you know?
Your racist problem.
Right, but I also don't ever feel like I ever have to. Like,
well, the fact that you have to talk over me and
I didn't mean to.
Talk in a loud voice shows that you have toxic whiteness. And you have within you the same thing the conquistadors had in Spain.
Not only am I evil, I'm particularly.
Wow, we're getting a history lesson here.
Particularly, He compared me the other day to on stage. What was the thing? You probably don't remember, but because it's just an off-the-cuff Hitler remark.
Oh yeah. He said that I helped him, encouraged him, and then I went up and I said, "I'm sorry that I encouraged him. I should have squashed him."
Yeah, like someone did it to Hitler.
Like Chamberlain.
Chamberlain had a chance to squash out Hitler.
Yeah.
So in the analogy, I'm the Jew murdering Hitler.
I mean, you still have the same toxic whiteness that Hitler had.
Definitely, very similar.
So, what am I supposed to do?
Right. If you see the same toxic whiteness that you saw in Adolf, the Führer, Hitler, you can't keep that inside.
No, it has to come out.
I can't.
I have to confront you.
I must be stopped. My genocidal.
Because your race.
But also,
right, because of my race.
Yes. I mean, lead with what you know. I mean, if that's your talent, toxic whiteness.
Right.
You know,
I mean, play it up.
I mean, don't waste your potential.
Yeah.
You corner that market.
That's God's gift to you. You know.
All right. Well, you fucking too, asshole. Don't sell yourself short.
Jason's more NPR white.
He definitely is. You're right. I'm more of a target.
You're like white trash white.
Holy shit!
Well,
we're learning.
This is cleansing. This feels cleansing.
Yeah. You're white trash. I'm NPR. Neither Well, NPR is probably better.
Yeah. So you've had any dog lately?
Yeah.
You ate any dog? now I feel more comfortable being evil. It's like instead of
Right?
confronting
This is
and
what
getting
you've
better,
always wanted
I'm
to
more
come out
like,
of you.
now
That's why
I'm-
you hate white racism, is because you have racism in your heart
I
that
do
needs
have
to get
it.
out.
It does.
But you've been stifled.
It's
And
true.
when you see other people playing
Right.
with fun and abandon, then you're
Yes.
like, why can't I do that?
Thank you. That might be true. That might
No.
actually be true. I
So
want
just
to.
let it out, dude. What do you think about Mexicans?
Oh fuck. I love beans, rice and beans. You know.
Is that all they are to you? Is just beans?
Wait, do you have any other things? Wait, are you doing anything else in Seattle? Any more?
I'm doing
comedy?
2 dope shows, and then I'm heading out.
2 dope shows. Where are those?
Naked City Brewery tonight, and then Tacoma Comedy Club tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Who else is on those? Do you know who's opening for you?
I don't know. Tyler Smith is hosting. I don't know who else is on it.
Who are you living with?
I'm living in a van.
You live in a van? All
Yeah.
right. Okay. Well, we're time to extend the podcast. What?
Dude,
Are you
I had
parked
a
next
joke
to Joe
about
Kelly?
it. No, because he doesn't live in New York.
What kind of van?
A Mercury Villager.
Is that like a minivan?
It's a minivan.
Holy shit. Is
Yeah.
it what's the license number? What's
It's nice. It's a nice setup.
is it what do you wait, so you live yeah, did you go online and did you like research the Google living in a van?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And do you have facilities in there?
I have a bucket I pee into.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
this
Are
is
you
what it
fucking-
looks like.
And do you cook with it?
Yeah, I cook inside. I cook all my own food. I never eat out.
Oh, we're looking at pictures. Oh my
Oh
God.
shit.
Do you feel like a serial killer?
Yeah, I feel like abandoned by society.
What am I looking? Oh, okay. Oh, is that a? Oh, that's your. Oh, okay, that's your bed. Oh, and you got a bunch of. Actually, that looks pretty well organized. I mean, if your bed was made, that
Yeah.
would actually just look like a utility closet.
This is fucking
Yeah.
Ron Skim. He's not going to live in a disgusting van.
It's like a Japanese pod hotel.
Yeah, yeah. You ever have guests?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had.
You're like, yeah.
Yeah. Are they disappointed?
Uh,
Are they
I mean,
like,
if they're fucking me, they know what they're getting into.
Especially if you're in a
are they?
van.
Are they?
You know what I mean? You got to be suspicious if there's a van. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
get add a little something.
Does it have one of those sliding doors?
yeah.
Is that how you like? Hey, welcome to the. That's. Is it cold?
Yes. I just have a lot of sleeping bags.
I like you're making all these fucking jokes about it, and then you're like, hey, are you freezing out in the van?
Yeah,
Fucking-
it's great for you being cold. Get your blood pumping. Well, you just eat more food and get more energy.
Why are you living in a van and not just getting like sharing an apartment with
Yeah.
25 people? I answered my own question.
I guess it's cheaper.
Is it?
Yeah, and no roommates. You get to do what you want. You get to live wherever you want. I live in a great location.
So you have an actual place to park
What?
and shit?
Yeah.
What part?
Ah.
Which borough? Is that? Do
Queens.
people say that?
Yeah.
People
Yeah.
like use that word.
Yeah.
It doesn't make me sound like an out of towner. Queens. Why not? Why are you in Queens? If you can drive and park anywhere, why Queens? Why not Manhattan? Or
Because there's a mic there every night. I'm parked right by where a lot of mics happen, and it's one stop away from Grand Central, so it's like right at the edge of Queens.
It seems like people go to LA because the trajectory is to like be in movies or
Yeah.
TV, I guess. In New York, is the trajectory just doing more stand up?
Yeah,
That's
just
it.
getting good at stand-up. I don't know if there's, yeah, like getting discovered for being good at stand-up is what I want to do.
Yeah.
And it makes you so much better just being around all those people that are really good, and it's where stand-up was like born.
Is that why you chose it over LA, or
Yeah.
do you even consider LA?
Considered LA. It's just not what I wanted to do. It just seemed too easy, and yeah, it just didn't seem to fit what I wanted to do. And New York was just so much better than LA. It had public transportation. It's rougher. It's like better. It's like more about the actual skill of getting better, and it's like uncomfortable. So it's only going to have the best people in it and not just lazy people. Too many lazy people in LA.
I've never heard that. That's interesting.
I
I've never
guess.
heard that it's lazy. I mean, I've just heard that it was. I always thought
Just
LA.
like these beach bums.
I just think of LA as like it's just everybody is constantly schmoozing.
Yeah,
That's
that's
lazy
also what I
behavior.
didn't like.
Uh,
Because
Yeah.
I'm not good at that part.
Yeah.
yeah, you just like the grinding it out, doing
Yeah.
the actual thing.
That's what New York seemed more
Yeah.
like to me.
So when you said it's uncomfortable, are you talking about the crowds themselves, like the audiences? Is there like if you run into any kind of like, like mean heckling kind of shit, like
Not really.
no?
I mean, I just do open mics mostly.
What's the most you've done in a night? I know you're big. You're big as far
Like
like
7, 8.
on a night.
Yeah,
Wow,
8 probably.
really?
I could have done
That's
9.
crazy.
From like what
goddamn.
time to what time?
Like 3 o'clock to like midnight.
Okay. But yeah, you get that subway, right? That's
Yeah.
what it is. That's what makes it possible.
That's
Yeah.
fucking crazy. That's
Do you think
dope.
there's a point where like quantity, like where there's like a diminishing return?
Yeah,
It's
if you're
like
just exhausted at the end of the night and you're just going up there because you're tired. But if you're like with it, I mean, it's not that hard. Being out all night is hard, like being a tourist, but it's not that hard compared to like fishing or like getting crab pots onto a boat. Like
Yeah.
it's relatively easy.
Have you done that?
No, I saw Deadliest Catch.
I did that kind of work for a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if you can pace yourself physically,
Classic
you can
white
go out and you're
They're fishing.
Yeah.
stealing the bounty of the sea.
That's right. Plundering.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. We're the ones who did it.
So you quit comedy.
Yeah.
Why?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
I told you. I
And
said I
you hate crowds.
I just well also I couldn't it's the thing that's frustrating about it in this scene is I mean I feel like it's also like you either have to do it or don't do it. Like
Yeah.
there's a point where it's like is this going to be your life or not? And I really like doing it sometimes or a lot of times I like writing jokes, but it's just I was having a hard time seeing like that I could actually make money at it. I didn't really have the faith that I could be that guy that everybody's gonna like, oh, I want to pay to see Jason McBride talk for an hour.
Louis did it.
I couldn't really, what's that?
Why can't you get in on the Louis train?
What does that have to do with him?
I mean, he looks like you. He does same stuff as you. People pay
Hey, man.
him. Why can't they pay you?
Why can't you be Michael Jordan? You know?
Yeah, I mean,
He's Michael
it's
Jordan.
definitely valid. I mean, obviously, it's my own fucking thought process. Like, that's obviously my own. I'm just like, but it was one of those things where I was just, and also I think I have a hard time. It's like relating to audiences, and then I'm like, I don't really like. I feel like I don't have a thing to connect with people on. Like, I'm not really into sports, I'm not, I feel like that's like the everything. Like, it's like I'm a guy, I don't really like sports, but I'm not gay, like,
What do you think? I think you have a very low view of other people in society. And it's hard for you to connect with them because you don't think highly of them.
well, I mean, should I think highly of them? I mean, what have they done to impress? I mean,
that's an
everything
emotional
works,
thing, right?
Generally speaking, everything's fine in society.
Yeah.
It's not like terrible, but I'm not like, just on a day-to-day basis, when most of the people I meet, I'm kind of like, yeah, we're not going to be friends. I mean, there's just
I don't know.
nothing there. There's
I
nothing
think
there.
that's like help. I mean, I like humanity, and I think humanity is beautiful, and I want to communicate with it.
Well, well, fuck you.
So when you say
No, I mean that's a good. I mean, no, that's great that you. I mean, how did you end up feeling like that?
I just feel
Or you
like
just always- have
at
you
some
always
point
felt like
it's
that?
there's so much humanity that you can focus on the negative parts or the positive parts. And I think at some point it's just a choice of whether you want to enjoy humanity or not. And either is totally legit. More so now. Like there's a lot of negative shit, but you could choose to focus on whatever you want to focus on. And there, like if you think that humanity is beautiful, there are things that you can do that are more freeing and better for you and emotionally than thinking everyone sucks. So I mean, if you had to choose, if you have the ability to choose, I would choose happiness. But if you're just like, this is how I react to humanity, it's a negative reaction, and I can't do anything about it. I think that's totally legitimate too, because humanity sucks a lot, some of it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he agrees with you that humanity sucks, but it's just.
I understand what you're saying. I get the choice part of it. I get that, and I realize there are good things. There's things that I like. There's I like movies. And
Yeah.
I like comedy. I like watching it. I like whatever. There's a lot of things I like. So and those are all done by people. So obviously,
Right.
I don't hate I don't hate humanity, but I just I have just a hard time in day-to-day life. Feeling like I feel like there's this baseline connection that most people can establish with each other. I feel like that's how I see it. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's like most people are able to find this common ground, and they're all kind of part of this hive or something that I don't know how to do it. That's like I don't really know what I don't fit in with that whole whatever the general culture is.
Yeah.
People. I have a hard time with that.
I mean, some of the best art comes from those people.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you're on a stage with a microphone, you're not even really obligated to fit in. You're actually separate.
Right.
They're out here,
Right.
so you could literally not even talk to them or meet them or anyway, and you could just be like this unique, different, weird thing that's they're hearing, and then the weirdness is that's the actual niche that you have.
But you have
The
to
thing that you think is the weirdness.
You have to
that's
sort of
the-
like them. If you don't like them, then you won't care if they laugh or not. And if you don't care if they laugh or not, you won't make them laugh.
I mean, I care if they laugh because I don't want to fail. That
Right.
part, of course, I
That's-
cared about that.
That's one motivation. But if you have like more motivations on top of
Yeah.
that, then you could become better because you have more incentives to make them laugh.
I mean, are there really comedians? Like, I've heard people say it, but do people really say, like, when people are like, I just want to make people happy, like people who do comedy? I'm like, really? I mean, you're getting all this attention. I mean, you're obviously clearly you're getting your ego stroked. You know, it's hard to believe that you're truly motivated by like, I just want to get it. I mean, there's probably easier ways to make.
I think it's an important motivation, but it's not the only one. Or else you would just go up there and fart or whatever. Because there's so much to comedy that's about yourself and like expressing yourself.
Wait, how does farting make people happy? But I know what you mean.
It's like funny.
You could just be silly.
Oh, sure.
You're saying you could just go up there and be silly without putting yourself through all the stress of trying to craft an act.
Yeah, but most comedians craft an act, so there has to be more than that going on.
Well, I will say this. I remember that we were talking earlier about Reed. I guess I'm not trying to pick on Reed, but earlier he said to me one time, I don't like it when you go up and you say, give it up for Hans Kim. Good job. So I remember thinking that's when you're really involved in something weird. Like it's considered an odd. It's totally natural to say the last guy did good. And that's actually, some people think that's weird. That's like wasting stage time. It's odd on a show to say that the last person did good. So that shows the level of selfishness is sort of like sometimes shocking. Like, why would something not be synergistic? Like, why would you not go, I like to make myself gratified also while I make
what
the
if you're
people.
using it as a crutch and you're just like talking about good about other people instead of doing your own stuff?
Yeah, that's probably what some people might think, but it's also part of just being like you're part of a thing. So you're part of a string of things that just happen. You know what I mean? You're part of an actual grander, larger show. I suppose like somebody who wants to be like suspicious in that way could say it's a crutch, but you're not really getting a whole lot out of it other than just being gracious.
I think it's only bad if like the audience is going, why do they keep saying like if they're thinking, why do they keep saying give it up for someone? Like if it's starting to be noticeably, if it's a distraction to the audience, then it's bad for the show. Like the audience should just be going along with, like the show should just be working. So if things are starting to sound weird and out of place, then obviously something's wrong. But you don't always know if that's going to be, that's when you have to feel it out.
Yeah, it's just like as a performer, you're saying the wrong things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just another thing that could be wrong.
Well, if the criticism was a little more nuanced like that, I probably would have been more receptive to it.
Yeah.
But I've actually in a way did listen to it though, because I don't do that every time. I only do it when it's like I feel like it's like called for, or like like it should mention that person. But whatever.
How about a hug? How about just a hug, right?
Hug the performers. Yes, more hugs. That sounds great.
And on that note,
Did you have fun?
Yeah. I mean,
Alright,
I think
man.
I'm a bit. Yeah. Whatever. Okay. Yeah.
on skin,
Did you have
wisdom
fun?
from the East. East
Yeah.
Coast! East Coast! I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
Oh.
East Coast.
Fucking. All right. Wrong again.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yes.
See you next time.
All right.
Bye.